साल पूरे होने के कार्यक्रम में वित्त मंत्री निर्मला सीतारमण का संबोधन जारी है। आपको सुनाते हैं।
The Indian scaling that the BSE has achieved is remarkable. So these are not small numbers. 14 lakh orders per second and 1,500 crores orders per day is not small in number. And I was just sort of looking at further breaking down this number. The average time taken to complete a transaction is less than 200 microseconds. If all this matters for a stock exchange, it is so important that you have stood up to the challenge of technology, and the benefits are accruing to all the shareholders in this stock exchange. And therefore, this is a beautiful journey of the financial sector, and this is all pervasive, and that is why I think it has a story of its own. 150 years is important, but together with it, the kind of milestones that you've achieved are very important. Much like the Wall Street, in the US, Sensex BSE's benchmark, the benchmark index of 30 top companies, is the sensitive pulse of the Indian economy, and that is there for everyone to recognize. From its start at around 550 points, that is in 1986, to touching a high of 80,000 points in July 2024, it has mirrored the resilience and the growth potential of the Indian economy itself. So, I think this is a barometer to show where Indian economy is strengthening, where it is moving towards, and therefore, even as we celebrate 150 years, we are celebrating how you mirror the growth potential of the Indian economy. All of us would have been familiar with the acronym VUCA. It is a VUCA world. It's full of volatility, uncertainty, complex and ambiguous paradigms which are shifting every day. One thing stands firm: the strength of the Indian economic fundamentals and the macroeconomic prudence with which the economy is being managed. We offer investors, who are the nerve centers of a stock exchange, we offer investors a combination of policy stability, growth, governance and innovation, macroeconomic policies, prudent policies, and democratic institutions and youthful dynamism. We have recognized the shifts which are underway when we presented the budget for 25-26. It had outlined a clear roadmap focusing on key priority areas, including agricultural productivity, rural development, inclusive growth, manufacturing, support to MSME, employment generation, innovation, energy security, and export promotion. We firmly believe that the most effective path to building economic resilience is to foster domestic efficiencies and competitiveness. India is confident much later than the COVID, now after the COVID, because of the calibrated approach that we took. India is confident that we will navigate these global disruptions with policy agility and long-term vision. Our focus remains firmly on building robust domestic foundation, and the foundation is laid and strengthened through infrastructure development, inclusive growth, and deeper regional cooperation. These are not just buffers, external buffers to external shocks, but accelerators for our long-term growth aspirations. And I think the role of the capital markets in India's growth story has never been more important than it is now. Driven by a strong regulatory architecture, and we have the SEBI's chief here, so driven by a regulatory architecture which is strong and enabled by reforms such as dematerialization, T+1, about which the SEBI chief spoke, T+1, the settlement, direct market access, and mutual fund penetration. India has built one of the most robust market infrastructure in the world. For a moment, I'll take an aside. Only a few days ago, I was in the UK trying to be a part of the economic and financial framework that exists between the two countries, which happens every year. We meet once in Delhi, once in London. Even at that time, one of the full-time members of SEBI, Varshney, was there. He's here before us today. The moment I mentioned T+1 settlement, you could see in the face of all the British representatives, they were aware of it, but you could see in the face of each of the representatives a pleasure to hear such a kind of a technological advancement that you have implemented. Equally, a tone of disappointment that they have not reached that level yet. So it gave me immense satisfaction to sit in London to tell them that we are far better than them in terms of dealing with the stock markets. So that's a very recent memory that I have experienced, so I thought I should put it before you. I could see it in the highest of decision makers in UK, that T+1 is something which is like a pole star, which they are yet to reach. So congratulations on that as well. FY25 capitalization of India's stock markets crossed $5 trillion mark for the first time, making India the fifth largest capital market globally. Over the past 5 years, our indices have delivered an impressive 131% dollar-adjusted return, the highest among global peers. Marking it at when you're 150 is something of a great sweet pleasure. I think that goes immensely to the BSE's credit. Congratulations on that as well. India's weight in the MSCI Emerging Market Index has tripled from 6.3% in 2013 to 18.5% in 2025, reflecting strong global investors' interest and our rising influence in the global financial ecosystem. Today, with a combined market capitalization of over 400 lakh crore, the BSE stands among the world's top stock exchanges, empowering businesses, startups, and industries to scale and innovate. The logo, released for the celebration of the 150 years, today signifies prosperity, vibrance, growth, and new beginnings, besides emphasizing continued trust and enhanced responsibility.
तो आप सुन रहे थे वित्त